everyone. Happy Thursday. This is Coriel Kramer, and I've got the animal experience for you because it's live every Thursday. 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Central Time, and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other places around the world, you have to look it up on a time converter because I'm not that good at knowing all the times. And I have episode 49 for you today. And I want to thank everybody for joining ahead of time. I'm going to take your questions and your comments at the end, so please feel free. Just as I talk about this episode, please feel free to let me know about your experience. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying. Let me know if anything resonates. Heck, just let me know how you're doing and how your animals are doing. That would be great too, and I'll read them all at the end. So this is episode 49. Episode 49 is on grounding. What is it? How can it affect your animals? How can it help your animals? And if they're not grounded, how can it affect them? I've come across quite a few different unwanted behaviors that were directly associated with grounding and being ungrounded. So what other issues can it solve, and can it help us humans? Can it help us? And if so, how? So let's get to it. Let's get down and let's ground. Hi, Dawn. First off, before I do that, I want to just say thank you to Dawn White's cats, because they actually were the inspiration for this episode. I did a session with her cats yesterday, and one of them was having some issues, and I found out that it was because she wasn't grounded. So let me know, Dawn, since I helped her and showed Lexi how to ground, I hope that's helped since. If not, then we can definitely, go into that more, and I can call you later on and we can find out what more is going on, if anything. But if it helped, let me know. So thank you to Lexi and Lola for your inspiration of this episode. So let's get to it. Hi, everyone, and here we go. So grounding, what is it? So simply put, really simple, okay? There's all different kinds of ways to say it. But this is the way that I tell people. Simply put, it's aligning yourself to the Earth's magnetic field. Okay? That's basically what it is. And for hundreds and hundreds of years, Native people of all continents, not just Native Americans, but Aborigines, Africans, all the people of the land knew about grounding for hundreds of years. But recently, I'd say within the last 2-3 years, it's been scientifically proven that it works and that it's real. So I guess that makes it real. Whatever. But, it's been known about for a long time, but it's now has scientific proof. If you Google it, it's scientifically proven that it works. So, number one, the first thing I want to talk about is, do animals do it? I'll go more into grounding, what it is and how to do it a little bit later on. But right now, let's get to it. Do animals do it? Animals are very tied to the earth, extremely tied to the earth, okay? And what I mean by that is, what happens is they are extremely tied to the vibrations. We talked about animals and vibrations. We talked about LOA. We've talked about all this kind of stuff earlier. So what I wanted to get into is, are animals doing it? Yes, they're doing it. Okay, especially the wild animals. The wild animals are more, the wild ones are more, they're not so, they're more free. And I don't like to use that word because it sounds like our domesticated animals are like prisoners, but they're not. They just have a more freer, kind of untethered, unlimited way of seeing things and doing things and living. And they have a very healthy, strong relationship to the magnetic field of the earth. They're very aware of when it's strong and when that connection is weak. You know, all animals, remember, all animals, the state of all animals are, the natural state is to be happy. Now, I talked about this in LOA, the episode on LOA, Law of Attraction. I talked about this on the episode of Stream of Well-Being. And grounding is one of the huge ways that animals achieve happiness. We're always wondering, how do animals stay so happy? How do they stay so carefree? They're very grounded. They're very centered. They're very aware of the earth's energy and how to utilize it. So, domesticated animals, though, okay, so that's the wild animals pretty much, but domesticated animals, mainly through living with us, okay, are still aware of their connection. They're very aware of their connection to the earth, but they can lose their connection to the earth more easily. And the connection can get degraded, it can get staticky over the years of living with us. Not so much, we have our issues, we have our baggage, okay? And like I talked about in previous episodes also, telepathy. Animals are telepathic. So if we're worried, in a state of worry, and we're in a state of depression, can our crap influence them to a certain extent? Yes. Okay? And one of the things, and what happens with that is it pulls them out of their grounded, centered state. But they can easily retain these strong connections to the magnetic field again. Remember, again, LOA and the Law of Attraction and the Stream of Well-Being episodes. These are very, very important. Animals are vibrational. If you want to know about that, sorry, you have to go back and listen to those episodes or re-listen to them again if you heard about them, because it's a very, very important foundation for a lot of the way animals are feeling. Hi, Marjorie. Thank you for joining. She's all the way on the other end of the world, so I appreciate when Marjorie can join us. So their connections are very strong. Again, the Stream of Well-Being. Now, animals don't always have the barriers from the earth like humans do. What are these barriers? Shoes, clothes, cars, high-rise apartment buildings, skyscrapers, planes. Now, this is to only name a few. What happened to us humans, or what seemed to happen to us, is as we evolved, we made it almost like a priority for our distancing ourselves from the ground. We wanted to get up off the ground because we were afraid that if we stayed on the ground, we were prey. So we started to hide in caves, and then we started to build, we started to build houses, which separated us from the earth. We started to wear clothes. We started to wear shoes, things like that. We started to become more and more connected to our magnetic field of the earth. As we did this, I believe, now there's no proof, but this is my feeling. I intuitively feel like the more we started distancing ourselves from the earth, the more we started to see problems and not solutions. I think we started to become lost. We became more stressed. We became more worried. And we became more disconnected and unhappy. I really do believe it. I think there is a simplicity in when we are. This is why, think about when people go into caves, when people go to the beach, when people, the first thing a person does when they go on the beach is they take their shoes off. Yeah, they don't want to get sand in their shoes. I dig that. It's hard to walk on the sand with the shoes. But I think that there's something primal about the ocean. I think there's something primal about people wanting to just immediately, as soon as, even before they hit the sand, they want to take their shoes off. They want to ground to that energy. They want to center to that energy of the ocean, to the earth itself. There's something very primal about that. When people go into caves, they feel, some of us, some without claustrophobia, feel like we're almost in Mother Earth womb. so to speak, where we're inside Mother Earth. We feel comforted, we feel connected, we feel happy, we feel joy, we feel love in that sense. So as I believe, as we disconnected from the earth, we allowed in more things for us to become afraid of. Things like stress, things like illness, mental illness. I believe, okay? But this is my thing, okay? This is me. So the magnetic field of the earth grounds us. All right. Again, scientifically proven. Look it up. Okay. But I knew about this for a long time, and Aboriginal people of all continents knew about this for thousands of years. So whatever. So it centers, the magnetic field brings you down to earth, so to speak. You've all heard that. Bring yourself down to earth. Come down to earth. It brings you down to earth. It grounds you. It centers the mind and the body to the vibration of the earth, which is slower. The vibration of the earth is more like a pulse, okay? It's not like, like this crazy popcorn feeling, depending, but the main vibration and pulse of the earth is very slow. So it slows us down. It calms us down. It gives the being who's grounding a tether to this world so that they can still connect to divine and the oneness, which is what animals, I heard animals call God, but they don't get swept up and carried away by it. What I mean by that is you are still grounded and centered, but not so grounded and centered that you are set in your ways and you're not moving and you're not going anywhere and you're not doing anything and it's your way or the highway or all this kind of stuff. But you're still connected and feeling like you're a part, and you're a part of a higher consciousness, and so are everyone else. You're in a state of unconditional love because you're centered and you're grounded. So it sinks you, but when we don't get swept away by the divine and oneness, and we all have seen people like that. It's usually people who are really grounded, too grounded almost, are very, like I said before, very, very set in their ways. Animals, very set in their ways. They don't want to change. It's their way or the highway. I'm not changing my unwanted behaviors. Screw you, blah, all this kind of stuff. That is when somebody is too grounded. Actually, they need to open up the crown chakra and start to connect to divine more, because they are a little bit too heavy. But when you're naturally grounded and centered, there is a connection between you and divine, where you're coming in and it's going up, it's coming down, it's going up, it's coming down, it's going up. And that is the flow. That is what you're looking for. That is what the animals are always able to achieve. This is why the wild animals seem so carefree. They don't care. It's not that they don't know about bills and they don't know about money and all this other kind of stuff. They have an inkling about it, but they don't have this worry, of the biggest worry they have is, and it's not even a worry, but they're like, oh, well, am I going to die today? I don't know, maybe. So there's this connection back and forth, back and forth. Grounding syncs our vibration to the earth, which enables us to feel peaceful and whole. So what are some ungrounded signs in both animals? First, I'm going to hit the animals first, okay? So what are some grounded signs in animals? All right. Now, when either an animal or person is ungrounded, usually they're too much in their head, which results in many different unwanted behaviors, okay, and uncharacteristic actions. Here are some that I've come across, okay? Here are some that I've come across. Animals first. So animals who can't settle, constantly moving, can't settle, get up, get down, get back up, get down, get back up, get back down. It's like an animal's version of pacing, okay? Now, hang on a second. Remember, there are some breeds who are very high energy. Let's say Jack Russells, okay? Let's just pick them because they're very high energy. So I'm not saying they wouldn't benefit from grounding, but it's also in their breed DNA to be high energy and yay kind of like thing. So don't expect them to just all of a sudden just like become like a 200-pound mastiff where they're just like hanging out all day long doing nothing, because it's not going to happen. It might help them a little bit to settle just a little bit and to get their energy in a good way and in a positive way, but it's not going to cure Jack Russell of being a Jack Russell. It's just not. Okay, so remember that. Number 2, animals who have excess fear or anxiety. Too much fear, too much anxiety. What does that mean? You're too much here. They're too much here in their head. They're not grounded. Now, this could be at the vet office, and again, you can show your animal, and I will show you later how to do a technique to ground your animal. But don't expect them all of a sudden to be like, I'm at the vet. I'm happy I'm at the vet. You know, they're not going to do that. I'm a miracle. I am good at what I do. I am not a miracle worker. I cannot make an animal go happy skippy into the vet. I can't get myself to go to the dentist, okay? All right? I'm not going to get an animal to go to a vet. It's not, but it will help them to get too much in their head. This is also good if they're, this technique will also be good, and I'm getting some new ideas, but if you're on the way to the vet and your animal is in pain, maybe helping them and giving them this technique to help them to get out of their head in the pain will help. Again, animals do pain differently than humans. They can leave their body easier. So you have to judge what feels right to you. Does it feel right to tether your animal back to the earth, or do you need him or her to be up in the in the atmosphere, the stratosphere, to deal with the pain? Okay, so that's just another thing that came in. Number 3, animals who have come from severe trauma or abuse, or who have been in a shelter for a long time, whether that is a shelter that is a kill shelter or not, kill shelter or not, and all of these things, meaning they can't let that experience go. They don't seem like they've unpacked their bags, so to speak. When I do a session with an animal, especially an animal who's like a rescue or a foster or something else like that, I don't know how to tell you how to do this, but I can feel empathically if they are emotionally settled in that home. It feels like, the best way I can describe it is, it feels like they have unpacked their metaphysical bags or boxes, and they're like, okay, I can rest here for a little bit, or this is my new forever home, I'm good, let's unpack my bags and get settled. If they're not settled, if they have that experience from the abuse or from trauma or from being in the shelter, it feels like they're not fully and completely stepping into their life. Now, I can't describe to you what that is because it's different animals for different strokes for different animals. You have to judge, but the best way I can describe it, the closest I've come to it, is an animal does not feel like they have totally and completely settled into their life. So, that's that. I hope that helped. The other thing that I wanted to address is this. So there's other there's other signs. So the other signs are food aggressive animals. Animals who are very food aggressive, dominant animals are number 5. Number 6 are aggressive animals. What I mean by that is that animals who are showing extreme aggression towards other animals, towards other people in the home, towards, their food, even animals who are excessive, doing things like excessive licking or excessive grooming or pulling out their feathers, these are all signs that there's something going on mentally. There's something going on up here. It's freaking them out. They're stuck in a negative behavior pattern. So it's a good idea to see if the first maybe, and again, I'll show you the technique. It's a few seconds. And if you can do this, maybe you can help your animal cure themselves of this. But food aggression, aggression towards other animals, dominance, and obsessive behavior, okay? The other signs are show animals like dogs and horses who can't perform well or seem to choke under pressure. They can't do it. They mess up time and time again. Number 8 is a severely submissive animals. In the animal world, there are omegas, there are alphas, and there are betas. And there are the in-betweens. Those are the 3. The alpha is, of course, the alpha. The beta is usually the second in command. And the omega is the submissive one, okay? Now, the omega, there's healthy omega, okay? Just an animal that's just chilling, okay, and happy being, submissive and, doesn't want to be the alpha. It's too much work. I want to just hang out and be omega all day long and just chill. I don't want the responsibility. I just want the fun. Then there are the animals who are extremely submissive to the point of being a doormat for all the other animals. Not only the other animals, but are submissive to the people in the house. Submissive, obsessively submissive. So those are some of the signs. Those are some of the things you need to watch out for when it comes to submissive animals. So the other signs are dogs who are constantly barking at everything. Now, some breeds are like this. Some breeds are protectors, okay? So you need to judge, but you can usually tell an animal who is really, really having a hard time, okay? And is barking their head off or meowing their head off, and they won't stop. It's almost like they're in this like loop, so to speak. Cats, again, like I said previously, but there are cats who are always meowing. It's like they're doing it just for the sake of doing it. They're not doing it for any other reason. It just feels like just doing meow, 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 meow. Now, you got to understand, some breeds of cats are talkers, like Siamese. Siamese are they're chatty Cathys. Chat, 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 talk, 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 pop, 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 pop. I want to talk all the time. So if you got a Siamese, you might want to try the drowning technique, but again, it's built inside the breed. So don't expect them to all of a sudden be quiet. Now, what was going on with the inspiration for this episode, yesterday I did a session with Dawn's cats, Lexi and Lola. And Lexi was crying in the middle of the night. Every single time Dawn would just like shut the light off. As soon as the light would go off, Lexi would start crying. And what I got was that there was other stuff going on, which I'm not going to go into because it's kind of personal. But the main thing was that when the lights came off, even though she could see in the dark, yes, animals can see in the dark, what would happen was that Lexi would get ungrounded. It would be kind of like, I'm trying to find an analogy. So it would be like you all of a sudden walking into a nice lit room or a nice lit house. Then all of a sudden you open up a door, somebody puts you into an unlit room. You would be disoriented. You would be ungrounded. And she felt ungrounded. So what I did was I taught her the technique that I'm going to teach you in a little bit. And she seemed to get it. It seemed to empower her. It seemed to give her like this feeling like she was okay. So that was Lexi. So she was meowing, again, meowing for absolutely no reason, just meowing constantly. Another sign is cage birds who seem unusually unsettled or boisterous, or who pulling out their feathers, like I said before. Okay? Now, ideally with a bird, I understand that birds are flight animals, but what happens is that if they become too grounded, again, they get set in their ways, and they're squawking, they're talking, they're boisterous. but also if they're ungrounded, because you got to understand, yes, even birds are both connected to the sky and connected to the ground. They have that nice balance. And what happens is that we put them in a cage. Sorry, I know some of you have birds. I don't mean that I'm against that. I'm just saying, I'm just stating what it is. So we put them in a cage or we put them in a home when their instinct, even though they were bred to be pets, they are still birds. They're still birds. It's still in them to fly, to be free, to fly in the sky. It's kind of like, you saying, well, you're a person, but, you can never go outside. Or you can't, walk in nature, just stay in, on concrete all day long. And you're a natural being. You're screaming to go out and see a couple of trees. It's the same kind of like thing. So they become boisterous. Now, again, birds are boisterous. They're loud. Okay? Some of them are loud. You can try the grounding technique, but if it doesn't work, then I would just honor that, or I would see an animal communicator because there might be something else going on. Another thing is animals. This is a big one. This is huge, guys. This is, I gotta say, probably, conservatively, I would say probably anywhere between 55 to 60% of the answer to this issue. All right, that I personally had. Animals who get sick in the car or who are agitated in the car. Immediately, I've had animals who, as soon as they were put in their carrier and put in the car's not even moving, they're throwing up. They're throwing up. I got animals who are moving back and forth. Okay, scratching at the Sherpa bag, scratching at the carrier, howling, yowling. They're ungrounded from the earth, and they lost their connection. They don't know how to get it back. So it's kind of like a boat on the ocean being untethered to the dock. You're just going everywhere, and you're not getting your center. You're not getting enough. As soon as you get lifted off the ground, some animals, as soon as they get lifted off the ground, put into something that's a vehicle moving at different speeds, it throws them off. So I've gotten a lot of animals, I've helped a lot of animals with travel sickness by teaching them how to ground. Okay? The next and the last one is animals who seem to worry or are overly concerned about everything. They seem to be worriers. Animals don't worry. They don't. So that's a big sign that something's wrong. If your animal seems like they're worrying, and worrying can be different things for different animals, but let's say an animal who is not able to settle, maybe running or walking back and forth, maybe somebody who is, maybe an animal who's very concerned about somebody and constantly with them and always never leaving their side and just constantly making sure that they're okay. I'm not saying not laying, not being with them, but it just feels like they're hanging over them as opposed to just being with them. Okay, so those are some signs of worry. So, moving on. Those are some signs of being ungrounded. Now, I know this is the animal experience, but I'm going to do the top 3 signs of humans being ungrounded. This is in my opinion. It's not scientific. I'm not an animal. I'm not an animal. Well, I am an animal. I'm kind of an animal. Anyway, I'm not a doctor. Just play one on TV. I'm not a doctor. Okay? Number 1 sign that you are not grounded. You're not sleeping well. Number 2, squirrel mind. La 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 la. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. Oh, I forgot to do that. Oh, I got to go over there. Oh my God, no, I can't go over there because I got to go over there. No, I better go over there, but I better go do this, and then I got to go get the car done. I got to get the dry cleaning. Squirrel mind. Okay. Number 3, worrying and fear. If you are in a state of worry and fear, I'm going to say probably 99.9% certainty you are not grounded, because when you are grounded, the farthest thing away from where you are is worry and fear. You're centered, you're happy, you're strong, you're peaceful, you're calm. You cannot be calm and worry. You cannot be calm and be fearful. It's on the different scale. So that's your sign. If I'm worrying too much, if I'm worrying, period, if I'm in fear, I'm not grounded, whoop, I better do this little technique that Coriel's going to show me so that I can get grounded. Okay. What to do? Here we go. So what do? You're ungrounded. What do you do? What do you do for yourself? What do you do for your animals? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Number 1. Take your animal outside. They may be experiencing some of your stress, so the more the merrier. All right, go outside with your animal. Then find a nice, beautiful patch of earth, whether grass or not grass, just as long as there's no poop, you're good. Take your shoes off and stand. Or walk around in a circle. Or just walk around, doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be in a shape. But do this for a few minutes. Do this for anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes. Or longer if you like. The longer the better. But what's going to happen is that you're going to allow yourself to feel and be. Just feel the earth under your feet. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to quiet your mind. Just walk and be. That's it. Don't try to do anything. You're not a doing, you're a being. Okay? Now what starts to happen is your signs. You'll start to see that your mind calms, the mind quiets, your animal might start relaxing a little bit. They might start, as opposed to being like the Energizer Bunny, they might slow down to the medium bunny, after a while. Or just sitting with them in the grass. You don't have to stand, you can sit also. But you're grounding yourself and your body to the magnetic field of the earth. So what starts to happen is your mind starts to calm, you start to get peaceful, the fears seem to melt away. All of a sudden, what was I worried about? I don't know. What? Oh, right, that thing. I don't know why I was so worried about that. The process of peaceful has begun. Now, that's going to be huge for them, because a lot of the times we walk our animals. Well, a lot of the times, here's the thing. I mean, if you got a cat, get them a harness and get them a leash. Now, I'm not saying that they're all going to be happy skippy about it, but maybe putting them on a leash and just putting them in the grass for a few minutes every few weeks, maybe that helps them. You don't know. But they lose their animals especially animals who are inside all the time. Think about how crazy you get if you're inside your house too long. And I love my house, but there are sometimes I have to get the heck out of here. It's too much. It's just, there's this, there's that. I'm tired. I want to, it's too much. So what do? Then I go out. And I clear my mind. I go walking in the desert, or I go walking in the mountains, or I go walking in the arroyo, or I just relax. I go out in nature. So think about how you feel. So your animals can get crazy too. Get your animals a harness and a leash and take them outside. Let them have a little peaceful area. You got bunnies, take them out. Get a fencing thing, like a baby guard fence or something. I don't know. Get creative. See about how you can, give your animals like a few minutes of reprieve so that it can help ground them. So when animals travel, here's the thing that I do. So many of them immediately become disconnected from the Earth's field. Now, this is, like I said, even before the vehicle is left, has been turned on, an animal might be all of a sudden harfing in the back seat, vomiting in the back seat. okay? This is your sign that your animal needs to ground. Here is what I do. I tell them to envision white or whatever color you like, roots coming out of the soles of their paws. Okay? And then these roots then come out and go deep into the earth. And it doesn't matter that they're traveling, the roots, it doesn't matter that they're traveling or 50,000 miles up above. They can still see the roots coming out of their paws, going down and going down and going down and going down into the earth. And it wraps around the earth and this whole kind of thing. They just keep unraveling. What happens with that is that immediately their mind starts to calm, they're reconnected to the earth, they start to feel grounded. So I tell them to do this, and a lot of the times it helps. All right? I tell them to envision the roots coming out of the soles of their paws, or out of the paws, and they're immediately grounded. They start to feel calmer, and they stop the vomiting. Okay? Now, this technique works for people too. So, what I mean by that is, if you can't get out into nature and take your shoes off, then what you do is you just sit quietly, put your feet on the floor, flat on the floor, envision roots, whatever color means grounding to you, whether that's green or white or purple or polka dots, I don't care. Find that color that works for you, that means stability and grounding, and feel these roots and see them coming out of the soles of your feet and immediately touching the earth. As soon as they touch the earth, you start to feel grounded. Okay? So, you can do this also for animals who are in apartment buildings too. Okay, not every animal, you can get them on a harness and a leash and take them out or put them on the grass. It's not possible. It's not feasibly possible. So you show them how to do it. Tell them to get it out of not only their paws, but maybe their talons if they're birds, and their claws, and it's just coming out, beautiful, coming out of the soles of their paws or their feet and going into the earth, and they're grounded, immediately setting the intention that they're grounded to the earth. Okay, so that is my little take and my little technique that I've been doing for years. Now, if I can't go outside, whether it's wintertime, even though I'm in the desert, we still have winter here. So if it's wintertime, or if it's raining out, or if it's too hot out, I feel myself too much in my mind is going too much, I cannot handle it. What I do is I make sure that I ground. All right? And I just use the techniques of the roots and just feel the roots coming out of the soles of my feet. So, bottom line, no pun intended, but it's my bottom line. Grounding is an incredible technique for you and your animals. It's very powerful. And in doing it, do it as often as you possibly can. In doing it, you're going to make yourself happier. Okay? You can't overdo calm. Do it as often as you want to, as often as you need. Animals and humans can get so lost and become a slave to fear and worry. And I believe that's where a lot of fear and worry comes from, and is from the disconnection from the earth. But the animals show us that we're not taking care of our animals show that we are not taking care of our most basic needs if we are not grounding. We are setting ourselves up for some huge problems. Now, grounding isn't woo-woo or hocus pocus or nonsense. It has been scientifically proven that it is a natural state of being for all living beings. All right? But what can happen is, through living our lives, we and our animals can lose our connection, and unwanted behaviors can come up. Many behaviors that people might not even know about with their animals might be solved from grounding. I listed at least 16 reasons, but there could be more. So try the technique and see if it works, because there's a lot of animals out there that might be benefit, those in shelters, those in rescues, who are having a hard time just being, and it might be because they're simply ungrounded. So try the grounding, and it could help a lot of different animals. It could help your animal. It could help a lot of shelter animals that might, sadly, not find their forever home because they're exhibiting unwanted behaviors because of ungrounding, not being grounded. It's quick. It's easy. It's the thing to do that I think can help so many animals and humans. Remember it, and do it as often as you want. Now, that's episode 49. I hope everybody enjoyed it. There was a lot of clicking and a lot of people going, crazy and all this other kind of stuff. So I'm going to read your question and your comments. What I want to say first off is this. Sorry, I've got hair on my eye. So what I want to say first off is this. I am having a sale. I do not know how long the sale is going on for, because I keep getting people telling me, can you hold the sale for another week? Can you hold the sale for another week? So I'm like, I put up that I was going to do it until Monday, but I'm going to probably extend it because I have a lot of people who want to do it and I don't want to disappoint them. So it's a great sale. It really is, people. It's 30 minutes for $50. That's $75 savings. That's my usual price is $125 for 30 minutes. Okay? 30 minutes, $50. You can buy as many as you want. You can combine them however you want. You want to do a past life reading in 15 minutes, fine, and then I can do an animal communication session in the rest of the 15 minutes. You want to buy as many as you want. The more you buy, the more you save. All right? And you can have up to about 3 months to schedule it. I might let you go a little bit more. Of course, I'm not going to be like, but I like to give people a time frame, because usually the longer we wait, the longer we think we have, the longer we wait, and then we forget. So I usually say 3 months. It is a fantastic sale. Thank you, Rebecca. I do think it is a fantastic sale. It's a fantastic opportunity. It's not going to happen again, at least not for another few months. So if you're going to do it, okay? So that's my sale, and you can find that at my website, which is CorielKramer.com. So here we go. Let's go to the questions and the comments, because there was a lot of activity going on. Marjorie says morning waves. Hi, Marjorie. Thank you for joining. We've always lived close to the sea. Well, that's a great place to do it. I mean, I'm telling you, there's something about the sea. But that's the way people should be all the time. You should naturally want to take your shoes off, because that's where the magic happens. Lisa says, hi, Coriel. I love your show. Thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate you. I love you. Rebecca says, always said that going to be my grandpa's in the mountains grounds me. Going to my grandpa's in the mountains grounds me. It's, yeah, great example, Let's see. Our Jack at the moment, too much anxiety. Next door's new dog. Yeah, my neighbor had just bought a puppy from the shelter, and Ziggy was barking. I mean, I thought this little dog, I swear to God, I thought he was going to have a heart attack. He was barking, he was howling, constantly nonstop, and she was away for hours because she works at a restaurant, and she's away for hours on end. He was barking, I kid you not. And one night he was barking from start to finish, howling for 9 hours straight. 9 hours straight. I swear to God, I thought he was going to have a heart attack. What happened was, though, and this is something I should address, so thank you for bringing this up, Marjorie. What you have to understand is when they're in the mix of it, when they're howling, screaming, and they've been going on for a while, they're kind of akin to a kid that's in the mall that gets lost from their mom, if you've ever seen a kid like that, and he's screaming bloody murder. And even when his mom finds him, there is no way to calm him down. It takes him a while to calm down. There's no real way to really talk to him at that time because he's not listening to you. He's so focused in his fear and anxiety that he's not going to do it. So grounding at that time probably will not work because they're too much in their head. So you might want to do it before, or you might want to do it after they've calmed down. And that's what I did with Ziggy. I waited until his mom got home and I showed him the technique, and he's been cool ever since. So thank you for bringing that up, Marjorie. Yes, I'm not a miracle worker, but, you know, I try. But, you know, I mean, I can't, if I could get the animals to be happy to go to the vet, I am charging a hell of a lot more than $125 for 30 minutes. Okay, sorry people, but it's that good. Okay, so Rebecca says Louis tends to get up and move around a decent amount for a bulldog. That's, again, you need to find what feels right to you. If it feels like, and go with your gut, if it feels like your first initial reaction is, I think he's stressing a little bit, then do a little grounding. Do the grounding technique. What do you got to lose? Nothing. It's not like you're going to put him on medication. It's a grounding technique. That's it. It's about empowering you. Louis is much calmer at the mountains like I am. I'm wondering if he's picking up from me or he's feeling more grounded there as well. I think it's both. I think the animals love being in nature. They love being around nature. I used to take my animals to my mom's house in upstate New York, my cats, and there was a definite difference. There was a definite difference. They just were calmer. They were quieter. Their atmosphere, animals are like us, you know, their atmosphere, you know, their surroundings dictate sometimes how they feel. And if an animal is in a cityscape all the time, it can detach them. They are animals, like we are animals. We are not made, we're not made to be in high rises and cement all around us and all this kind of stuff. We're made to have a balance. That's in our DNA. So if the animals benefit from it and you benefit from it, then it's good all around. Oriental short hairs talk and talk. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Absolutely. And that's another thing. So you got to remember, these are, you know, it's not a cure-all for everybody, but it is a cure-all for a lot of people. So this is Dawn. This is Lexi's mom. So Lexi has been meowing at night, starts as soon as the lights go out. She was somewhat better last night. Good. I'm going to keep on showing her and telling her how to ground. Sometimes we have to get into that mindset. Sometimes we have to make it a habit. And, you know, she's made a habit of meowing at night. Now we have to counteract that habit with the grounding technique. So, Marjorie says, Arsiana has done that since Peanut died. She shouts and she carries small things to me from my room. It might be that she's grieving or stressing. So, yes, one of the things I would say is let's try it. Let's try to do a grounding with her and see if it helps her. And again, you might have to do it and remind her to do it again and again and again until she remembers to do it herself. It may take 3 or 4 times for her to remember. Paula Gregg, a little late, but Truffle Brulee and I are here listening to you. Yay! Paula also says, that makes sense. Truffle owns the house and she doesn't like traveling in the car. Yeah, I get it. I feel it. So try the grounding. I think it'll be helpful to everybody. Louis, Rebecca says, Louis, that's her bulldog, gets upset, really upset if anybody's outside the car. We had somebody jump on our car at a red light years ago and he hasn't been able to get past it. That doesn't feel like it's a grounding thing to me. That feels like it's more of a letting go of a past issue. How do I say that? It feels like it's a different thing, but we can certainly try it, give it a shot, and see if that works. Dawn White says, I am so ungrounded. Well, we all are at certain points of time, So Rebecca, try the grounding for Louie and see if that works for him. Marjorie says, Jack seems to be nervous. We are trying to get him to lose weight. Next door, put up a new fence so he can't do his usual patrol route. They have a Rottweiler, so it is sensible they put up the fence. True. Okay. I'm sorry that Jack is so nervous. We're trying to get him to lose weight next door, put up a fence. That's a lot of new stuff. It's a lot of new stuff. So the grounding could work. I think the grounding could work. It certainly would help. I don't know if it's cure-all because there's a lot of newness going on. Plus, he's not too happy with the fact that you're making him lose weight. Gotta be honest. So, Marjorie says, do animals... No, Dawn, hang on, that was a good question first. Dawn says, do our animals respond to us being ungrounded? They do. They understand when we're ungrounded. They're telling us to chillax. They're telling us to chill out. They're telling us to relax, and we're not. So, do they respond? Can they be affected? Yes, of course. But it depends on the animals. Some animals are just like, oh, there she goes again. She's worrying about that stupid, car or something like that there. And what I would say is that they can be, but it would be, nice to be able, wouldn't it be nice to be able to ground yourself so that you can be in a state like your animals are, where they're calm, cool, and collected? Just thought. Marjorie says, pop your kitty into a stroller with a harness and leash, then get them out for a short while at the park or something, right? Yeah, you can. I used to take my cat across the street to a really beautiful park when I lived in the upper part of New York City, not Central Park, even farther up from Central Park. And she loved it. She would just, just want to sit and lay in the grass. I think laying in the grass is better than the stroller. Getting them out to the park or wherever in a stroller, fine. But I would say probably, putting a harness on them, a leash, putting them in the carrier or something like that there, and then taking them out. But, however, but I think the main point of it is to make sure that they're at least a little part of them is on some kind of earth or a patch of earth. That's my opinion. Okay. Paula says, I am very ungrounded. I'm sure Truffle picks up on my emotions. I'm sure she does. They pick up on all of our emotions. They really do. So if you get yourself in mental alignment and magnetic alignment with the earth, you're actually helping your animals too. I mean, you're helping yourself, but you're helping your animals. So think of it like that. I love calm and ordinary. Ordinary totally rocks. Best tip of 2018. Good. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you thought so. Dawn says she's buying another session. That's great. Sharon says, oh my God, great deal. Thank you. I need to watch this again and take notes about grounding. No, wait. Blog about this, Coriel. Well, it's going to be on my blog. I put all of my episodes on the blog. But maybe I'll just write a post on grounding. Or did I? Can't remember. I don't think I did. I got to look. It's been a while. So I got to look and see. But if not, then I'll write a post on grounding. So thank you for that suggestion, Marjorie. Okay, moving on because we're getting late in the time. I need to watch this again. My sis is a high-stress person. I noticed her dog yawns nonstop, mostly her. Wait a minute, I gotta read this. My sis is nonstop. Sharon Wagner says, my sis is a high-stress person. I noticed her dog yawns nonstop around mostly her, so much so that I told her to say something to the vet. I took him for a week while she went away on July 4th. He never yawned while he was here. Since he went home, he's doing it less. Never does it around me any longer after spending the week with me. It's like he yawns when he's picking up on bad stress or vibes. Yawning is a release. Yawning is a release, people. That's again scientifically proven. I'm not saying it. When you yawn, you're releasing stress from your body. Whether you're a person or an animal. That's a great thing to remember. So thank you for mentioning that, Sharon. It's really cool. Oh my God, Sharon says also she lost her dog Jersey a little while ago. So let me just put that out a little bit. Sorry, I just want to make sure everybody sees everything. So she says, oh my God, I'm not grounded after losing Jersey. Poor sleep and definitely squirrel brain. Going to hit the beach. Always been my spot. Yes. Go, do, be. And maybe not just once. Do it, regular grounding for you is going to keep you in a mindset of peace. Don't you want to be in a mindset of peace? It's going to keep you in a mindset of the solution, not the problem. It's going to keep you in a mindset of positivity. So ground, baby. You feeling bound? Get to ground. That's what I say. So, Rebecca says, thank you, we'll try. Yeah, it doesn't matter who is outside the car, including people he knows. Yeah, it's just that's something that he needs to work on. So we might be able to work on that in your session, Rebecca. So I would bring that up and remind me during it, because we need to, feels like there's a little bit more to it than that, and we need to get that solution for him. So everyone, Marjorie says Jack is a slow learner and thinker. He's a gentle boy. He is, I'm sure. Okay. So who else? Lola. Dawn says now her other cat is Lola. So Lola was under the bed this morning, so I laid down on the floor and did some grounding with her. Did it help? I would love to know that. I am happy that you did that for her. I think that's amazing. Okay. I would love that. Dexter, Sharon says Dexter will yawn nonstop through multiple times within a minute like he can't stop. Again, it's a release. It's a release of stress. It's the way they do it. We do it, they do it. So, everyone. So again, let me just mention this to everyone. Again, this is the longest I've gone on, I think, since the beginning. So this is almost an hour. We're going on an hour. So what I want to say is this real quick. Again, the sale is going on. I don't have a date where I'm going to stop it. It's probably going to go on until the end of the month. And if it doesn't, then I will let you know way ahead of time so everybody has enough time. But I am doing a sale, 30 minutes for $50. You go to my website, you can see it, you can purchase it, and then you can schedule it. Okay? You can combine it however you want. All sessions are recorded. You get a copy of it, and all of them are over the phone. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and feel free to talk to me on Facebook or whatever. I hope that everyone had a wonderful episode. I hope this helped everybody. There's still a lot of talking going on, and I loved it. I mean, this is probably the most talking there's been on any of the episodes. So, it's awesome. Go and ground, people. Enjoy yourself. Find peace. Be at peace. Because when you're at peace, your animals are at peace. You're helping them. You're helping yourself. You're helping this world. Because when you are at peace with who you are, when you are at peace with what's going on inside of you, when you are at peace, period, you are then able to bring that peace out to the world. So I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to thank everybody for commenting. I want to thank everybody for sharing this and all the other episodes. And I want to thank everybody for their support of the animal experience, because it has been an incredible experience for me. And I can't believe we're almost at episode 50. So the animal experience will probably be changing the day. I'm not sure what day yet. I have to see. But I will let you know probably by episode 50 or 51. So thank you all. I love you all. Until next week, I wish you and your animals a wealth of wonderful, beautiful, amazing, grounded